About the defense contention that the prosecution is targeting jurors who are sympathetic to their case. Is that possible?
Well, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's probable, and I don't think that it's taken place in this case. I mean, a few months ago, the defense was very unhappy with a particular white male on the jury who they believed was giving them bad signals or mixed signals, and they were all for the removal of that individual. You know.
So you're saying both sides play the game?
Well, both sides played the game, and I want to say that with respect to Jeanette Harris, I absolutely believe that this woman was never impartial. She seemed to be totally intractable in all of her views of this case. She seemed to think that nothing the prosecution said, and I mean nothing, had any merit, and there was no criminating evidence one way or the other. And if you're fair-minded, you're sort of able to see both sides, and then you come down in one direction. And it was clear to me that the misconduct that she was describing on this trial was twofold. One, that they were talking, the jurors are talking, and more importantly and critically to this case is that there were jurors on the jury now as we speak who've made up their mind on this case, and you can't do it in the middle of the prosecution's case.
Except for one problem, though. The research has shown for many years now that most jurors make up their minds during opening statement, and they stay with it and use the evidence that they hear to support their point of view. They do this because everybody's scared to death to make the decision and be wrong in some way. So they glom on very quickly to what they've known in the past and a few things that sound sensible, like, yeah, that's probably how it is. So I think from that point of view, we can't recognize, we have to recognize that everybody does bring some prejudice.
Real quick,
well, everyone,
you know,
everyone might bring some prejudice, but the issue here is whether or not they are pre-committed to vote or not vote. And some of the things Jeanette Harris said about white people being afraid to vote for an acquittal of O.J. Simpson and black people being afraid in the other direction. I mean, she said some very serious things, and I'm talking about on her initial testimony, not her new improved version of it.
Right, and of course, Judge Ito will find out much more about that when he meets with Jeanette Harris. Sonia Hamlin, Melanie Lomax, Carolyn Walters. We could talk about this for a few more hours, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you all for talking with us this morning, though. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
And Brian's back in a moment to discuss jury problems with Tia Carrere. But first, this is Today on NBC.
Oh. My what?
Tia Carrere has recently acquired a knack for showing up in hit movies. Though she's probably best known for her role in Wayne's World, she's recently starred opposite Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes in Rising Sun, and as Arnold Schwarzenegger's nemesis in the film True Lies. In her latest role, she gets a little fed up with the antics of her co-star Pauly Shore in a comedy called Jury Duty.
No, because of you, we're cooped up in this closet, away from our families, our friends, and our jobs, headed into the 21st century!
Tia, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, I know this part, Demi Moore wanted it, Meryl Streep wanted it, Michelle Pfeiffer, no, seriously.
Are you mocking
No,
me?
not at all.
You always mock me.
Not in the least. But it seems an unusual film for you. How'd you get involved in it?
Well, it was sort of, Pauly was a neighbor, and he sort of said, hey, Tia, I got this movie, and it's kind of funny, and you want to play my girlfriend in it? I was like, okay, that sounds cool. All right, I'll meet you at the bottom of the hill, and we'll talk about it.
So you did it as a favor to a friend?
No, it seemed like a fun thing to do, and once again, it's, you know, it's a role regardless of ethnic background, which is very important to me. I don't want to, you know, keep playing accents. And it was a law student, very smart, very tough, as you saw. Yeah. And it seemed like a fun thing to do, and I like Pauly.
I ask it because those vehicles, and maybe I'm wrong for grouping it with, you know, Billy Madison, Tommy Boy, Dumb and Dumber. Those are vehicles that generally are guys' vehicles in which there isn't an awful lot of space left for a woman to perform.
Well, I get to do some fun stuff in this. I mean, you saw, you know, putting him on the spot, yelling at him, you know, being, you know, not walking around in like a spandex dress, and I get to do some fun stuff in it, so.
We have something against spandex?
Well, you know, red lace spandex. I've been there, done that. No, I'm just kidding.
Pauly Shore is a nice guy, but in terms of the echelon of Hollywood, he's down a bit from Schwarzenegger, Snipes, Connery. How'd you find him to work with?
Connery, Schwarzenegger, Shore. Has a nice sound.
Great ring.
He was great fun to work with. It's like working with a barrel of monkeys, you know? It was fun. We had a great time. I got to do some great stuff in it, and I hope people enjoy it. And it turned out to be a very topical movie as well.
Let's explain the premise. He's basically a losing kind of character who gets on a jury, and he sees sequestration as the gravy train, right? Because he gets his food and boarding taken care of, so he wants to keep the trial going. And in the process, you're also on the jury. You want off of it, and he's hitting on you constantly. Let's roll the clip, Bob, and then we'll talk about it.
Thanks for saving me a seat. So what do you think?
About what? You're sleeping or you're drooling?
We all have our own ways of concentrating. Honestly, do you think the guy did it?
I don't think we're allowed to discuss that.
Well, then what can we discuss?
Us?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
You talked about not doing a role in which you have to have an accent. We've talked about this before. You are part Filipino, part Chinese, part
Spanish.
Hispanic, part Hawaiian. Do most of the roles that fill your mailbox these days call for some kind of idea of a stereotype?
No, and it's been a conscious decision. I mean, stretching and changing and now producing my own projects so that I don't have to go that route. I mean, after Wayne's World, many people thought I had an accent, and now it's just a matter of, you know, stepping back and letting people know that there's a lot more there.
Are other producers willing to see it? There's a lot more there. Are you getting the kind of offers you'd like, or do you find that you're stuck in a little bit of a rut in their minds?
Things have been going great. I can't complain. But also, I'd like to do some more dramatic stuff, and that's why my husband and I have started producing. And our last movie was called The Immortals. Very heavy, dramatic, intense scenes. It was like a heist gone awry, and I got a lot of, you know, hysterics and stuff going on. So that's been very fulfilling. But it's you know, it takes some work to get people to see you in a different light, especially when I've been in these wacky comedies. But it's nice to keep your face out there in these big studio movies.
Yeah. We laugh about the red lace spandex of Wayne's World, but does Cassandra follow you around to this day?
Well, I've heard swing and stuff like that.
When you walk down the street,
When I walk down the street. It's gratifying, though. I mean, people have watched this and have studied this and learned the language, and it's nice. It's nice that people appreciate your work.
Yeah. How's the music career going, by the way?
It's going good. It's sort of, you know, I'm still writing. I'm writing for a second album, but I have to go with the movies now. This is what's hitting.
All right, you still promise to come back and sing for us someday.
Well, as long as you don't pull any more fiascos like last time.
Would I do that?
Yeah?
Tia, take care of yourself. Tell the dogs we said hey.
Okay.
We're back in just a moment. There's more ahead right after this. See? Back now at 15:06 past the hour.
We're having once again another discussion about my shoes. Brian thinks they're hideous.
I don't think so.
Really? Thank you.
Well, you know,
Thanks,
that's
Katie.
a hard
This is very
color
hard.
to find. You know what would look pretty with that?
Barefoot.
No. You know, you could get a very soft, kind of,
Thank you, Bix.
very soft, beigey suede pump that would look really pretty
That would look
with
like
that.
a nubuck or something,
Yeah,
too? That
kind
would
of
good.
this color.
This
you
is
used
just
to
a
wear
very
these
difficult.
kind of off-white pumps with this.
No, it was something more this color, but it looked too springy.
It did look. It looked
Because
too
this is
summery.
actually
It
a
looked like you were
sweater.
rushing the season a little bit.
Pushing it along.
Maxwell
Maybe
Street?
just something a little bit.
Maxwell Street? In Chicago?
No.
But the funniest thing I ever said
Very
to
funny.
Elizabeth was, I'm assuming that's
you
like the
make that
bargain
dress?
bro. I asked Elizabeth if she made her dress once. She didn't like that. I don't know.
Would you? Would you?
Well, it
Did
was
you
a really
make
cute
that
dress.
cute? It looks like
It was a cute dress.
I'm happy, you know what? June was up all night sewing this puppy together, yes.
But women's shoes these days can look a little
I just
witch-like.
jumped Tia for her shoes.
What
She
kind
had
of shoes
the
did she
big,
have on?
clunky jobs.
Well, those are very in.
Those are very in.
Boy, I don't get it.
I feel like
I have
these
a
look
pair
like
of
witch
Joan and
shoes.
David, like clunky boots, like ankle boots.
Yeah.
I love. I wear them
You
constantly.
gotta be kidding.
No, I love those shoes. I like those shoes.
Whose shoes are those? Oh, these I think look a little witchy. potentially witch-like, don't you think?
They would if you didn't have the blue pantyhose on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look,
All
nice
right,
little
anyway.
arch there with the...
No, those are really rude, Elizabeth.
They wouldn't be bad with a darker outfit and darker
Maybe.
pantyhose.
In other words,
Okay.
if they disguise the shoes.
Fashion chat.
Well, we only got 45 seconds left, so
Oh,
save
so
that.
I'll save it,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you only got, but if they would disguise the shoes if you had on some darker pantyhose.
Not so much disguise. It would just make a more monochromatic
look.
line.
A monochromatic line.
Like Katie
Very
today
good.
is monochromatic.
I gathered that, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Okay, just in case you weren't catching on to what we're
Thank you
talking
very
about.
much. You mean, despite the Sgt.
You
Pepper
might
buttons,
still be
right?
stunned and dazed, and
You think so?
What do you mean? These don't look like
Stunned and
Sgt.
dazed.
Pepper buttons.
Oh, you mean by Tia?
By Tia.
Oh.
She is quite beautiful.
Yeah,
we
she
could
really
just
is.
involve,
You know-
have a new word for it. It could be Tia'd. You're not, Brian just Tia'd right now.
We got Tia.
I don't know. I think that might be dangerous. I don't.
Back now, 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, 11th morning of April of '95. Outside Studio 1A, we got a lot of folks enjoying the Tuesday spring in Manhattan on our corner of 49th and Rockefeller Plaza. For the visit, we're grateful. Thank you. Back inside Studio 1A, I'm Bryant Gumbel here with Katie Kirk. Straight ahead in this hour, we're going to talk about skin cancer, where we have some good news and bad news. Bad news is more and more people are getting skin cancer, but the good news is it can be prevented if you know what you're looking for. We're going to talk about that this half hour. Katie?
Also, Brian, in our first half hour, we heard the presidential aspirations of Kansas Senator Bob Dole. Well, in this half hour, we'll talk to the woman who will be at his side. Elizabeth Dole will join us right after news and weather.
And later in the hour, Jim Fowler's going to be here. Jim's over in the corner with his kitty cats.
His mountain lions.
His
I
mountain
guess they're
lions.
having problems with mountain lions in California.
That's right. That's right. No laughing matter there. How big are the ones you brought us today?
About your size.
They're about my size. Thank you very much. Man's a comic, too.
Hey, you do Tia Carrere, you have to do mountain lions, too.
Shecky Fowler. Let's go to the news desk. Elizabeth?
All right, thanks, Bryant and Katie. Hello again, everybody. Testimony resumes today in the O.J. Simpson murder trial with police criminalist Dennis Fung returning to the stand. Fung's testimony was interrupted last week when Judge Lance Ito dismissed a juror, and then 3 other jurors came down with the flu. That dismissed juror, Jeanette Harris, will be in court tomorrow in the judge's chambers. Ito subpoenaed Harris following her suggestion that the jury has been discussing the case. A San Francisco judge says the manufacturer of semi-automatic weapons used in a 1993 shooting spree can be held liable in that crime. 8 people died in that shooting at a San Francisco law office. It is the first time an American court has ruled that an assault weapons maker can be held accountable for the criminal misuse of its product. Employees of a Wisconsin lab may face murder charges today following the deaths of 2 women whose medical tests were misread. NBC's Dawn Fratangelo has the story.
For at least 4 years, Dolores Geary was suffering from cancer and didn't know it. In Milwaukee, her husband testified about the ordeal.
Considerable amount of pain, and we kept asking, what's going on with her.
In 1993, Dolores Geary died of cervical cancer. In a rare move, an inquest jury has recommended that reckless homicide charges be brought against a Milwaukee laboratory, its technician, and doctor for misreading 2 of Geary's pap smears. According to experts, the signs of cancer were clear.
I was shocked.
Why were you shocked?
Because I feel that it was the most malignant pap smear I've seen in 23 years.
I'm only 28 years old, and I suffer from advanced cervical cancer.
Karen Smith belonged to the same HMO as Geary, so the same lab was used. Smith had 3 pap smears and 3 biopsies. Allegedly, all but 1 were misread. Sick and incensed, she testified before a House subcommittee last year.
Had my cancer been properly diagnosed in 1988, when my very first pap smear was misread, I would have a 95 to 97% chance of survival. However, due to gross incompetence and shameful errors, I am now dying.
Last month, Karen Smith died. The recommendation for criminal charges is unprecedented, and proving willful misconduct could be difficult. The lab's attorney.
Is it horrible? It is devastating. But it doesn't mean that somebody's a criminal because of a missed act.
The district attorney will decide this week whether to pursue the charges, but he's already fulfilled Karen Smith's final wish, launching an investigation.
Karen felt very strong that she didn't want this to happen to someone else.
Dawn Fratangelo, NBC News, Chicago.
Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole raised about $1 million for his presidential campaign last night in New York City. Dole was in New York after officially throwing his hat into the presidential ring on Monday. More than 40 years after he first entered politics, Dole is running at a time when polls show dwindling support for career politicians. Earlier on today, Bryant asked him about that.
But I think the American people are looking for stability. They want conservatives, but not somebody who'll go over the edge, not some extreme form of conservatism. And in my view, I think that's been my record.
Today, Dole takes his campaign to Ohio, Iowa, and Colorado. Police in New Orleans are braced today for demonstrations by anti-abortion groups called Operation Rescue. Members of the group are in New Orleans for a week of protests. Here's NBC's Jim Cummins.
Operation Rescue staged a rally last night at a Baptist church for the protesters in New Orleans who will try to stop abortions over the next 6 days.
Whether with many or with few, our God is able to save. We're going to have more than enough to do what God wants to do in the city this week.
Operation Rescue!
Abortion rights supporters staged their own protest outside the church.
I have no way of knowing whether Operation Rescue is going to behave in a peaceful way. We have every intention of not being violent, though we will defend ourselves if we have to.
The authorities aren't taking any chances. 200 police officers and sheriff's deputies have been assigned to guard the city's 7 abortion clinics 24 hours a day.
We are going to protect people's right of access to the health care providers of their choice.
What he has done is taken 200 policemen off the streets of the most dangerous city in America.
Leaders of the anti-abortion protests insist they will be peaceful.
Operation Rescue is the largest civil disobedience movement in American history. 70,000 arrests with no violence attributed to Operation Rescue.
But they have not ruled out the possibility that some protesters will attempt to block the entrances to abortion clinics when the protests begin this morning. Jim Cummins, NBC News.
It is now 8:06 and time to go back to Bryant and Katie.
All right, Elizabeth, we're going to go back to Willard Scott, who's in the nation's capital, checking up on our weather. Willard.
Still beneath the cherry tree.
I cannot tell a lie, Father. I chopped down that. Remember George Washington? This is maybe the last of the cherry trees, but it's a tradition. We wanted you to see it. It's here at NBC, not the cherry blossom down at the tide. It's so pretty. Happy birthday from NBC and Today. How nice. We're outdoors here. Robert Eldridge here in Washington, D.C. Handsome man who's 102. And his wife is 98, still living, beautiful lady, member of the Asbury Methodist Church for 83 years. 75 years married, Myron and Grace Boughton of Nevada. 78th one-day anniversary. He's 102, she is 97. Beautiful couple. Thunderstorms and some flash flooding and tornadoes possible down around the lower Gulf from New Orleans to Biloxi. Look out. Thunderstorms up and down the Mississippi Valley and snow in the Dakotas and in western Minnesota. Here's what's happening in your world even as we speak.
Thank you, Willard. While Senator Dole is no stranger to presidential politics, neither is his wife, Elizabeth, who has been at her husband's side through a number of campaigns. This morning, Elizabeth Dole is in New York. Good morning, Mrs. Dole.
Good morning, Katie.
You've held not one but 2 cabinet jobs under 2 presidents. Some would say you're, of course, head of the Red Cross right now. Some would say that you're qualified to be president yourself. What kind of role do you envision for yourself during a Dole administration, if that happened?
Well, Katie, I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Dole.
Obviously, I've been in public service all of my life, whether it's in government positions or now at the Red Cross. So I would certainly continue in that same vein to hopefully make a difference, a positive difference for people. It's a wonderful platform from which you can make a difference.
During the '92 campaign, Bill Clinton used to say to voters that you could get 2 for the price of 1. Do you think that your experience in government and your expertise would be a real asset during the campaign?
Well, for now, I'm at the Red Cross. Our Board of Governors has given me their advice that with an unpaid leave of absence, it's fine to accompany my husband on his announcement tour, obviously to talk about him as a person, but at this point, since the Red Cross is studiously nonpartisan, I'm not involved in discussion of the issues. So we'll assess that as we move along.
Are you staying away a little bit, Mrs. Dole, from talking about being an activist First Lady, partly because of all the criticism Hillary Clinton has received?
As I say, we'll determine what my role will be as time moves on, because I think each person puts their own imprimatur on that job. But let me say that while I don't necessarily agree with Hillary Clinton's positions on issues, I think she's a person who is very bright and who's certainly dedicated and committed to what she feels is right for America.
So you have no problem with the First Lady taking a more active role in policy matters?
I think that's something that each person has to assess and determine for themselves. And I don't think there's any one mold, Katie. That's something that each person, as I say, puts their own imprimatur on the job. And I think the main thing is to make a difference for people, to use that platform to really utilize your ability to make a positive difference for others. And that's what public service is all about, really.
As you well know, Mrs. Dole, as you mentioned, everybody seems to have their particular cause that they're interested in. Mrs. Reagan fought against drug use. Mrs. Bush, of course, emphasized literacy. Mrs. Clinton has talked about health care, among other matters. Can you think of a particular cause that you're passionate about, that you might use this as a platform to rally for or against?
Well, first of all, I've not made that determination in terms of what my causes would be as First Lady, but I can certainly tell you that I'm passionate about a number of subjects. For example, as Secretary of Labor, my top priority was to help youth who are at risk to drugs, to gangs, to dropping out of school, to teen pregnancy, and I've tried to provide leadership in that area for the American Red Cross as well.
So something about young people may be an area that interests you.
Well, that's an area that's so very important in terms of turning this country around, getting us back on the right track. I think we have to be very much concerned about our young people today and their values, and certainly that would be an area that I would just normally continue to be concerned about. Obviously, the Red Cross is a marvelous organization, and I can certainly envision some continuing involvement with Red Cross.
Let me switch gears, if I could, for a minute, Mrs. Dole. Obviously, wives and husbands aren't necessarily on the same page all the time. Mrs. Bush talked about the fact that she was really pro-choice after President Bush was not reelected. I know that your husband is quite conservative about abortion. He only favors abortion rights if the mother's life is in danger or in cases of incest and rape. Do you agree with him on that position?
I do. I agree with my husband.
So no differences whatsoever?
We're on the same, singing on the same page, same tune there, yes.
Real quickly, before we go, as the wife of Senator Dole, what would you like people to know about him that they don't at this juncture?
Well, Bob is a private person, Katie, and I think recently there may have been a few glimpses of the private man in public, but Bob is a person who's very caring, very compassionate. His whole life really has been involved in making a difference for others through legislation, through his public life, as well as in his private life. He began the Dole Foundation for people with disabilities. There's so many ways in which he's made a difference, either helping individuals or organizations, and I think this may be an area where people have not heard quite as much about him because he is very much a private man. But I think he feels he takes very seriously his opportunity to influence public policy, and he feels a duty to make life better for others.
No doubt people will be hearing much more about that and many other things in the future. Elizabeth Dole, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. Good to see you.
Thank you, Katie.
And just ahead this Tuesday morning, everything you need to know about skin cancer and Jim Fowler on California's problems with mountain lions. But first, these messages.
Before you start catching some rays this summer, you may want to consider this. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, 1 of every 5 Americans can expect to get skin cancer. Dr. Darryl Regal is an expert on skin cancer and how to prevent it. An associate professor of dermatology is with the New York University Medical Center. Dr. Regal, good morning.
Good morning.
Just a year ago, the odds of contracting skin cancer was 1 in 6. How's it gone to 1 in 5 so fast?
Well, the rate of skin cancer is increasing faster than any other cancer in the U.S. and worldwide, so it's really a serious problem.
Why is that?
Nobody really knows. It's probably due to the fact that there's about a 10 to 20 year delay from the time you do the damage till you see it. So we're seeing what people did in the 70s and 80s before there was good protection and before people knew better.
The incidence of melanoma, which is much more deadly, has also gone up dramatically. How big an increase are we talking about?
We're talking about a 1,500% increase in the 50-year period since the mid-1930s.
1,500%?
Yes, a major, major increase in this potentially deadly form of cancer.
Will precancerous skin lesions always mature to melanoma if gone untreated?
Well, not all kinds of precancerous lesions turn into melanomas because there are other kinds of skin cancers, but there are lesions on the skin of early melanomas that can progress on to the deadly form of it.
Before we talk about how to spot it and how to prevent it, talk about risk a little bit for me. Who's most at risk of these skin cancers?
Basically, the fairer your skin, the lighter your hair, the lighter your eyes, the easier you sunburn, the more sun you've had, and if you have a family history of skin cancer, all those people are at highest risk, but anybody could get skin cancer.
Does that necessarily mean that African Americans, Asians, Hispanics have very little worry?
They have less worry, but they have risk, and therefore everyone should protect themselves.
Are children any more at risk than adults?
Well, children have less risk for getting skin cancer per se, but it's been estimated you get about 80% of your lifetime exposure to the sun before the age of 21. So it's particularly important to protect kids.
We're going to look at a few examples of early skin cancer. As we do, just want to caution you, some of these pictures are not pleasant to look at, but we do offer them to you so that in the hopes we might save some lives somewhere down the road. Why don't you tell us about some of the warning signs as we look at some of these?
Well, this is a basal cell carcinoma, and it's for something that's growing, bleeding, crusting, or changing on your skin. That should warn you to see your dermatologist. This is an early melanoma, and the way you can tell that is A for asymmetry, B for irregular border, C for uneven color, and D for diameter greater than 1/4 of an inch or a pencil eraser. And that melanoma is still early enough to be curable. But a melanoma the size of a dime on your skin has a 50% chance of having already spread throughout your body. So you have to catch it early. It's probably the most clear-cut case of a cancer. If you catch it early and treat it early, you're in good shape.
All right, let's assume that I see one of those in the morning. What do I do?
If you see one of those, see your physician, your dermatologist, who can do a very simple skin biopsy. A skin biopsy is a very easy thing. It's like a little scrape, and it can be looked at under the microscope, and you can catch this potentially deadly thing early enough to be treated.
If you get one, are you sure to get others?
Well, once you get one, your chance of getting others are at increased risk. And that's why once you have a skin cancer, it's important you be followed on a lifetime basis to really catch others early.
All right, let's talk about prevention. We've got some sunscreens here. What are we supposed to look for?
Well, basically, the most important thing with a sunscreen is to use an SPF 15 or higher. They should be broad spectrum, cover both ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B, and preferably be waterproof.
Can we assume they cover A and B if they're above 15?
Most of the time you'll get pretty good protection, but some of them will say UVA, UVB protection. Those are the different kinds of ultraviolet lights that can hit you. UVB is the most important. That has the most energy. There's a UVC, but that's blocked by the ozone layer.
If 15 is what we need, isn't it irresponsible for people to be selling 6 and 5 as they do?
Well, I think so. I think there's no reason. You just don't get the protection you need to use those kinds of sunscreen.
I know you're also big on hats as a form of protection. How much protection does a hat provide?
Well, a sunscreen's part of your protective armamentarium. You need to use protective clothing. Every 1 inch of brim you use on your hat will lower your skin cancer risk by about 10%.
Every 1 inch will lower it by 10%.
Right. 1/3 of all skin cancers on the entire body are on the nose. So if you look at your nose and cover your nose with a brim on a regular basis, you'll cut your risk there too.
So make sure you have an SPF 15 minimum, wear a hat as often as possible, stay out of the sun between what, 10 and 2?
Between 10 and 2 or 11 and 3 during daylight saving time.
Okay, and I know you've got a Melanoma Monday supposedly coming up on May 1st. What's that about?
Well, this is kind of an exciting project that's coming up where we're encouraging everybody through the American Academy of Dermatology to examine their skin on that day. If you see a mole or a mark that's suspicious, please come have it looked at.
All right. Dr. Gerald Regal, thanks for the primer.
My pleasure.
It's 8:20. We're back in just a moment. More ahead right after these.
Gene Shalit says if you like big movies, he's got one for you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Critics' Corner. Rob Roy, the story of the Scots legendary hero Robert Roy McGregor, portrayed by Liam Neeson and directed by Michael Caton Jones, is set in the 1700s when men were men and movies did not run 2 1/4 hours. It must be easy to be a hero in Scotland because Rob Roy didn't accomplish much. In the early 1700s, he borrowed a large sum of money from the local nobleman, His Grace the Marquis of Montrose, John Hurt.
£1,000 for 3 months, you say, and the acres of yours as security.
And my oath.
Yes.
And when Rob couldn't pay it back, he became a Scottish burr under the seat of the Marquis, who decided to do something about it. Namely, a lot of people got hurt. His Grace took terrible vengeance on Rob Roy's villages, his clan, and most evilly upon his wife, Jessica Lange. We know Rob has to get even or he won't become a legend. And the man he wants to get most even with is a hateful Englishman, Archibald Cunningham. This vicious dandy, this degenerate abomination, this bewigged and preening fop ranks with the rankest of motion picture vilemeisters. He is played to the hilt of his sword by Tim Roth, who bestrides this admirable cast. Jessica Lange demonstrates again how accomplished an actress she is. Liam Neeson, kinetic in kilts, does all he can to bring this legend to life, though he is no Errol Flynn. The dependable John Hurt is the Marquis down to his lace and velvet wrists. The movie's sheer size will impress audiences who don't particularly care what they're served, as long as the portions are big. And Rob Roy is a big portion. In its favor are a number of outstanding performances in scenes of debauchery, knavery, and noble honor. Plenty of hoofbeats and sword-clanging action. However, it occasionally slumps and it grows tedious. Faults that the public will probably rush to ignore. But for the Critics' Corner, despite the fact that it is long on character, long on plot, and long in length, Rob Roy comes up short. That's the Critics' Corner for this morning.
Jean didn't care for it. You saw it.
Yes, I did.
You liked it.
I liked it.
I know. You took all Liam Neeson scenes home, right?
No,
Got a little drool off your chin from Liam, did you?
Trying to get me back to
Did you?
Tia? Are we?
Did we ruin our dresses when we watched that one?
No, we didn't ruin our...
Get all over our bib?
Stop it.
We've got lots more ahead when we come back, including Jim Fowler and his kitty cats after a station break. 26. All right, what'd you bring?
Well, Bob Dole mentioned in the first half hour there's never been a President Bob. And he's absolutely right, of course. So I thought I'd give you all a little quiz.
Okay.
What is the most popular name for our former presidents?
Richard.
John.
Richard?
I don't know.
Who's this? Richard the Lionhearted? Who are you? What person
Richard,
is
the Roy thing got me all confused. Richard who? Nixon.
That was a popular name. One. Okay. Anyway, what did you say?
John.
John. That's the second most popular name.
James.
That's the first most. You are starting to make up. Okay. Can you name all the James, the presidents? Just try.
James.
Well.
James.
You can name one, can't you?
James. Madison. There's one.
James
Hey, you don't
Monroe.
have to help. Come on.
James Monroe.
Okay.
James Polk. James.
Jimmy Polk.
Come on, Jimmy Polk. Yeah.
Carter. Carter.
Oh,
Right.
Duh.
Buchanan.
That's 5. How many are there?
And there's 6.
The sixth.
For the Amana radar range that Carol Merrill is standing in front of, the 6th James was, can I have a drum roll, please,
Give us a
Davey?
time frame.
No, because I don't know. Garfield. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, name all the Johns.
John.
Kennedy. Adams. Adams. How many are there?
4.
Yeah, like I said 2 John Adams. Michael, relax. I said 2. There's 4. We're missing 1.
Kennedy, Adams.
Tippecanoe and...
Tyler.
Okay. William. There
Taft.
are 4.
4 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Taft.
Taft. Clinton. Thank you very much, Rose. Very good. Very good.
My relative is one of them. Henry Harrison. Thank you. William Henry Harrison, my relative. And the 4th William.
We said that. We said Clinton. Where you guys been? Relax.
Begins with an M.
McKinley.
Very good. Okay, what's the 4th most popular name for president?
George.
No. But that was...
Only 2 of those.
Actually, you know what? There's a tie for the 4th most popular name,
At 2?
Elizabeth. Yes, George, at 2. George.
Bush.
Who
Washington.
else? What are the other 2 names?
Hang on.
Okay, I know. It's hard. It's hard, I know. I'm glad I'm holding the piece of paper.
Isn't there anybody in the control room to feed us anything today?
No, this is courtesy.
No?
This is courtesy Andy Fisher. That should be a little hint for you.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson.
Thank you.
Andrew Johnson.
Thank you. Okay.
And the other one?
Well, it's the 50th anniversary of his presidency.
Franklin.
Thank you.
And
Franklin Roosevelt and Franklin Pierce, ladies and gentlemen.
Gee whiz.
Very well done.
How about President Zeke? We don't have a President
Well, we only
Zeke.
have one Zachary, one Zach, one Woodrow, one Warren, one Ulysses.
Whoa!
Yeah! What happened?
They test fire the shuttle's main engines down there in
that was
Mississippi.
that.
That's what they do. So before they do that, they get a jolt out of us, and then they go get a jolt at work.
And it wasn't a tape problem.
No, it was not a tape problem. There wasn't a backup on the other. But anyway, hey, National Library Week.
That's right. Someone had a sign like that yesterday. Support your local library.
Good idea.
Many of them are shutting down, you know?
Real good idea.
Yeah.
We're back at 8:30 in Studio 1A, along with Katie Couric. I'm Brian Gumble. Jim Fowler's going to join us in just a little bit. He's going to be, we've been teasing all morning, bring some kitty cats by. He's actually bringing some mountain lions by because they've been very much in the news in California of late because there's talk of taking the lions off the protected list. Jim thinks that's a bad idea. We'll find out why.
I guess the problem is they've been eating some pets.
Well, they've been attacking some pets. They attacked a cyclist and a jogger.
Right.
And what's happening is they're losing their fear of humans, and so they're becoming a problem.
Yeah, sounds pretty scary. Also, Bryant, for those people who are confused by the array of child care books that are now available, Disney is now in the child care business with a 2-volume reference work that gives parents ready access to lots of information. We're going to take a look at that this morning on Today's Parenting.
Okay, on to the news, as they cried. Elizabeth Vargas is in for that.
Thanks again, Bryant and Katie. Hello again, everybody. The jury in the O.J. Simpson case returns to court today after a 5-day break, and as an investigation of the jury continues, police criminalist Dennis Fung will resume testimony today, and Judge Lance Ito has subpoenaed ex-juror Jeanette Harris to meet with him tomorrow. He will ask about her statements that black jurors are treated worse than whites, and her suggestion that some jurors have disobeyed orders not to discuss the case. A Milwaukee jury has cleared the way for possible criminal charges to be filed in the cancer deaths of 2 women after a lab misread their tests. Dolores Geary died of cervical cancer in 1993, and Karen Smith died of the same disease just last month. An expert has testified the results should have been obvious to lab workers. Smith asked for an investigation before she died. The 2 Americans held in Iraq are reported in good health, but enduring tough conditions. A Polish diplomat today visited David Daliberti and William Barloon. He says they're relatively well fed and cared for, but living in a cramped and dirty cell block. Winter has come back for an encore appearance in Colorado, where some areas got up to 20 inches of snow on Monday. It made driving tough around Denver. The same storm system dumped heavy rain on Tyler, Texas, flooding streets and homes. Tonight on Dateline NBC, a story that may make you think twice about the people who prepare your tax returns. These couples were among the victims of one accountant who they say robbed his clients of more than $1 million.
What's happened to us could happen to anybody, any average, ordinary citizen.
He forged your tax return.
Yes.
He stole your money.
Yes.
And he got away with it.
Yes.
And guess who the IRS says has to pay the bill? That's Dateline NBC tonight at 10, 9 o'clock Central Time, right here on NBC. It is now 8:33 and time for the weather and Willard Scott.
Today's weather is brought to you by Sylvan Learning Center, where better grades are just the beginning.
Hey, you got that right, Josie. I need to get a little smarter. I may check them out. We love pound dogs here. You know, you can get some wonderful dogs at animal shelters across the country. And our friend Penny got this little dog. This dog here is Ursa. She was 10 weeks old at the time. This was 2 months ago. And she's a Newfoundland, sort of. And here she is now. Come here, have a little sweet. Here you go. And it'll save some for me. Oh, that's a good. So she's going to be a fairly good-sized dog, isn't it? Delicious. Anyway, you can get a mighty good dog at £1 per pound. Best buy you'll ever make. Happy birthday. Check them out if you will. It's always a pleasure. From NBC and all the gang, today's show. This is Maud Jones of Santa Maria, California. She's 108 years old. Used to make and sell quilts and cottage cheese and baby chicks down on the farm. And now she's 108 years old. Happy birthday. Myrtle Strickland of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Lived on her own until just last year. She is 100, a beautiful lady, and everybody is crazy about her. Okay, gang, on the map, you saw it in Colorado, they had some snow. More snow expected in the Dakotas and western Minnesota, up to 6-8 inches. There are tornado watches in effect. down from New Orleans to Biloxi, Mississippi. Be on the lookout there. Some severe thunderstorms possible throughout parts of the eastern Mississippi, the lower Mississippi Valley, back on up into the Tennessee Valley, and some thunderstorms as far north as the Ohio Valley. So there. And a nice day, and it's getting warmer here. It's going to be about 55 or 60 today. Here's what's happening in your world even as we speak. Still loved and adored by our thousands of fans at Williamsburg High School. Here's America's favorite, Tia Carrere.
Wow. Thanks, Willard. Up next, Disney has some advice on parenting. That's right after these messages.